Hello, I'm State Representative John Ragan. Thank you all for being here today. Your attendance signifies a very important commitment. I share your commitment, but unfortunately, I'm out of state on other official duties. However, I'm leaving my legislative assistant, Tyler Lane. He can respond to your questions or comments on my behalf. In the time I have with you today, I want to talk to you about vision. The book of Proverbs says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." This wisdom addresses the very situation we have come together to discuss here today. We, all human beings, need a worthy vision to sustain us, something that draws us forward with a strong sense of purpose, contribution, and fulfillment. And it must be a vision that we see as just and right. When our nation's heroes went to far-flung shores, the vision they carried enabled them to endure hardships of the worst kind, standing in harm's way on our behalf. Unfortunately, the terrible trials borne by these heroes returned some of them to us in flag-draped coffins. Others came back broken in body and spirit. Many of these once proud, self-reliant people tried to ease their suffering through drugs or alcohol. But this only made a bad problem worse for themselves, for families, friends, and their communities, as officers of the law and courts can attest. It's darkly ironic, isn't it? Our noble warriors fought and were wounded as they risked everything to protect and defend the American ideals, the American way of life, which depends so heavily on the just operation of our legal system. But now, here at home, their suffering is being compounded by the very system they fought to defend. As a veteran myself, I couldn't accept that vision. It just wasn't right. So I began to imagine a better one. In this new vision, the American legal system is a much better friend and supporter of suffering veterans. It helps them to emerge from the crushing weight of conflict and legal trouble. And it helps them walk a path of recovery for body and spirit. Today, that vision, more than 3 years in the making, has progressed into reality. It has only been made possible by the contributions and hard work of many individuals and organizations. The East Tennessee Veterans Treatment Court Committee is at the top of the list, and I applaud your work. A few people who deserve to be mentioned by name are Justice Gary Wade, Senator Douglas Henry, Judge Seth Norman, Judge Dan Eisenstein, Judge Chuck Cerny, Commissioner Minnie Bears Grinder, Commissioner Varney, Ms. Karen Yakuzo, and Ms. Libby Sykes, and many others. I am deeply indebted to these people for helping me turn this worthy vision into reality. In 2011, it was my privilege to introduce legislation that would have expanded the use and availability of veteran-specific courts statewide. Because of cost and other issues, the legislation morphed into a feasibility study, and money was provided for a number of court officials to travel to Buffalo, New York to learn about veterans' courts in that state. Upon passage of House Joint Resolution 124 in 2013, court officials and judges in Tennessee were given flexibility to create their own versions of veterans' courts. The need for these courts is crucial because over the years, veterans have been returning home with an unprecedented rate of post-traumatic stress syndrome, or PTSD, and traumatic head injuries. Veterans' courts can play an important and particular role in our society. They can give the right kind of help to veterans who come into contact with the justice system. These courts give judges the flexibility to help rehabilitate our troubled and suffering veterans, not simply to perpetuate and increase their suffering. Great strides have been made in the direction of supporting our veterans through veterans' courts. Yet support of these courts must continue to grow. The effectiveness of this program now lies with judges, court administrators, veterans organizations, and all of us. I challenge you to stay engaged. We must continue forward. In closing, the recent graduation of Jeff Hepler from the Knoxville Veterans Court Program is a wonderful milestone in that vision, which started in 2011. But we must continue our journey, guided by this new vision for helping veterans. Let us do all we can for these warriors who have returned from defending our nation. They deserve nothing less. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.